Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video in SQL Server. Today we are going to learn about what is subqueries in SQL Server. So a subquery in T-SQL is a query nested within another query. So for an example, if you have a query, you need to retrieve data from another query. You can use subqueries to perform such operations, and if your query requires multiple steps, then you can use subqueries to perform the multiple steps operations. You can use subqueries in your select, insert, update, or even a delete statement. So let us see some live examples how we can use this subquery in our tables. Let us get it into a SSMS and walk through some queries. So I have connected inside my SSMS. I am under my training database. So I have the customer table creation script and the orders table creation script. So let's first create both the tables. So I have created the customer table, also the orders table. So now I'm going to insert 7 rows inside my customer table. So 7 rows got affected and 15 rows inside my orders table. So it's around 14. Okay, now let's select and view the records in both this table. Select, start from customers. So you can see in the customer table I have a customer ID and the customer name along with their email address. And again we can use this select statement to see the orders table. Let me select the orders table. So in the orders table I have order ID, customer ID, order date, and the total amount for the particular order. So you can see here clearly that the customer ID in the customer table is a primary key and it is referred as a foreign key for the customer ID in order table. So you have also the customer ID as a primary key in the orders table. So there is a reference between the customer table and orders table with the customer ID column. You can also use joins. Instead of joins, there is also subqueries available in T-SQL to perform those logics. So let us see for an example. I need to retrieve all the names of the customer who have placed orders totally more than $200. So here there are a total amount for particular order. So based on this customer ID, I need to fetch the customer name who have placed orders greater than $200. So how we can achieve this? You can also achieve this using the joins. So let's see how we can do this using subquery. Select, start from the customer name. So select, I need the name of the customers. So I'm going to select the names from the customer. I need to provide the where condition, where the customer ID, I can provide the in, and the subquery is usually written inside the circular brackets. Here I can perform another select statement. Select, start from the orders table. So I need to calculate the order. So let me group by the customer ID. So I can get the sum of the amount for each customer orders. And let me provide the having command and filter the sum of the total amount, the column total amount from the orders table. Sum of the total amount is greater than $200. So let me provide 200. So I need to select the customer ID from this. So now this select query inside this subquery, let's execute this. This got all the customer ID who has placed orders greater than $200. So I need the customer name, so I have provided the where condition. What all are the customer ID matches with this customer ID, I will get the name of those customers. So I have 7 customers totally in my table. So out of them 6 customers have placed orders greater than $200. So we can use multiple subqueries to find these logics in SQL Server. Also we can use subqueries in the update and delete commands too. So let us see another example. Like I just know the name of the customer, I don't know what is the ID of the customer. So let's say, for example, out of these customers, I know the name of the Jane Smith. So I need to update the email ID of Jane Smith as janesmith@example.org. Then how can I achieve this? Usually we will update the email ID based on the unique column. In this customer table, the unique column is the customer ID. So I don't know what is the customer ID for Jane Smith. So how can I do this? Let me provide the update statement. Update customers, set the email ID. Set the email is Jane Smith at example.org. So then I can provide the where condition, where usually we will provide the customer ID and we will supply the value for the customer ID, but I don't know what is the customer ID for the Jane Smith. So let me find this using the subquery. In this subquery, I am going to use the select statement. I am going to select the customer ID from the customer table, where I am going to specify the name of the customer is Jane Smith. So I need to retrieve the customer ID for this customer name. So you can select this inner query, you will get the customer ID of Jane Smith is 2. So when I pass this value to my outer query, it will automatically update the statement. So one row got affected. So without knowing what is the customer ID, with the help of a customer name, I have updated the customer email address. So now let's select and view the customers table. You can use the select start from customers, and now you can see that the customer ID has been updated to email.example.org. So we can use a delete statement. Also we can use subqueries in delete statements. So let's take an example. I need to delete all the orders which are placed by the email with the email address ends with example.org. So if there is so many members with example.org, then how can I perform this? Let me provide the delete statement here. Delete from, I need to delete from the orders table, delete from orders. We provide the where condition, where the customer ID need to be in. Let me provide the subquery inside here to retrieve all the customer ID who has email ID ends with example.org. So let me copy this. So I need to include the select statement here. I need to select the customer ID from the customers table, customers, where their email address is like, and we provide the wildcard path with anything before this email example.org. I need to fetch those customers. Now let's select and see this inner query. So Jane Smith, who is the only person with the email example.org. So let me fetch the customer ID out of this and pass this to the after query. So while I execute this, 3 rows got affected. So Jane Smith placed 3 orders in the orders table. So we can use subqueries in this manner to perform our operations. You can also even use subqueries to insert your values based on certain condition retrieved from some inner queries. So it is most likely using a join condition, but you can use a complex logics in SQL subqueries than joins. So comparing with joins regarding the performance, if the data set is very small, then there is no difference in the performance between joins and the subqueries. If the query set is large one with a million and billion records, then definitely joins will be very much useful and helpful with the highest query performance for you. And the SQL joins will work perfectly with the indexings, so it will locate the rows very quickly, and the performance of the query will be so strong than the SQL subqueries. So when comparing with the complexities, so it will be easier to write subqueries in some situations where you can find joins to make the query complex. So in such cases you can use subqueries, but most likely you will tend to use the join conditions, which will give you better performance along with your indexings. You have understand what is subqueries in SQL Server, how we can use this in our select statement to select the records based on the inner query results, and also how to use in the delete and update statements, and how subqueries differs from SQL, and what is the performance difference between the joins and subqueries. So let me provide the GitHub link in the description. Please check out the GitHub repository where I have provided the solution, also few queries. So please subscribe to the channel and watch all the videos in the SQL Server. Thank you for watching.